How would it feel to live with a lot less anxiety? As a heart patient, we understand that the health challenges that you have been through can often cause increased levels of anxiety. And be assured that in this, you're not alone in feeling this way. Many heart patients feel anxious, especially in the first few months of being diagnosed and post-treatment. But anxiety can continue long after the initial cardiac event. For heart patients, anxiety can be induced by firstly having a life-threatening disease, and secondly by being unsure if you'll ever recover fully afterwards. Anxiety about what you can do, what you can't do, what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, how the medications affect you, and the knock-on effect to your family and loved ones. Anxiety has become an epidemic. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 1 in 8 people between the ages of 18 and 54 now suffer from an anxiety disorder. Most people have some degree of anxiety in their daily lives, either about the family, their future, finances, work, etc., which is understandable. But as people experience unremitting anxiety about these and other issues, the condition often turns into an anxiety habit that drains their energy and reduces the quality of life, and also the ability to heal effectively. One of the biggest problems with anxiety is that the more you experience it in any of its common feelings or symptoms, the more these anxiety reactions become etched in your neural circuitry. Anxiety then becomes an automatic response to stressful thoughts and feelings. What happens is that your emotional system, your feeling world, can't stay balanced against the constant barrage of anxious feelings. This creates emotional oversensitivity and reactivity, which then contribute further to anxiety. As this process continues, anxiety becomes a habit that is hard to control. Another problem is that when you experience chronic anxiety, it affects your body as well as your mental and emotional state. Anxiety keeps the body flooded with stress hormones, which drain your energy. This is what we call anxiety fatigue, and it's one of the most common reasons for chronic low energy or general fatigue, but just won't seem to go away. Like so many people these days, you might find yourself feeling sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. Anxiety is a feeling, a type of emotion. Emotions are energy in motion. Your feelings can change quickly, and you have more control than you may realize. Our mental, emotional and physical systems all work together, and we can learn how to synchronize the whole process for positive results. In fact, that's what our heart's intelligence is designed to do. And in this video, I'll show you how. So whether you suffer from occasional or chronic anxiety, you can use the information in this video to help you lessen the feelings of anxiety. It's important to note that the material in this video is not intended as medical advice, and by all means consult your doctor to see if your anxiety is related to a specific medical condition that needs treatment. Through using some simple self-initiated techniques, you can learn to activate the power of your heart's intelligence and increasingly release anxiety-provoking thoughts and anxious feelings. Before we progress, let's see how anxiety affects your life right now. As I go through the list, see if any of these are common in your own experience. So we have restlessness, chronic worry, free-floating anxious or fearful feelings, panic attacks, obsessive thoughts, phobias of any kind. Now, consider if you experience any physical symptoms. All of the following are commonly associated with chronic anxiety. So we have rapid or irregular heartbeats, tension headaches, tightening of chest or other chest pains, digestive problems, sweaty palms. Now, it could be that simply by reviewing these lists of anxiety symptoms, you're sensing some discomfort as a result, and that's not surprising. It can feel uncomfortable at first. to get in touch with how you're really feeling inside. But take heart, use the techniques in this video for addressing your emotions and accessing your natural heart power and intelligence. You can transform a lot of anxiety this way. We can learn to harness the power of your own heart to change what you couldn't change before. You can learn to deal with the pressures of the moment so that the stress and anxiety don't accumulate in your system, and you can learn to release a lot of anxiety as it occurs and find more ease and security inside yourself. As you practice the solutions, you will start to rebuild your energy reserves and renew your hope, build your confidence and enthusiasm for life. We could all do with a little practice in our understanding of feelings and how to manage uncomfortable emotions. A basic fact is that if you don't manage your emotions, then the emotions will manage you. When you feel like a victim of unwanted emotions, you can't find the ease you desire. As you learn how to develop the power of your heart's intent, you can progressively bring anxious thoughts and feelings under your management. The first step is by sincerely wanting to shift out of anxiety patterns and habits. Some people prefer to hold on to anxiety because it's familiar and they think anxiety makes them feel more secure, but it doesn't. So, wanting to get out of the trap is the first step. I will guide you with tools and techniques to help create some safety and some security as you go. Here's a simple tool to start with, but often works wonders and very quickly. This tool is called Notice and Ease. You can use Notice and Ease anytime, night or day, and it's easy to learn, remember and practice. As with many of the tools I'll show you, the simplicity can cloak its power at first, so don't let its simplicity keep you from giving it a try. Part of its effectiveness is that it is so simple. Okay, 3 parts. Step 1. So we notice and admit what you're feeling. Step 2. Try to name the feeling. Step 3. Tell yourself to ease as you gently focus your heart, relax as you breathe, and ease the stress out. So let's give it a try right now. In the first step, we want to really notice how you are feeling. You can't transform anxious emotions until you learn the power of noticing and admitting to yourself in the privacy of your own heart what you are feeling and how your body is responding. So take a minute to do this right now. If it helps, you can close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, a deep breath out, and just relax. Okay, now by admitting a feeling, whatever is worrying you, anxiety, anger, hurt, resistance, numbness, or even something that you can't put your finger on, you slow down the emotional energy running through your system, you loosen its grip on you, and this helps you to regain control. Now, being honest about noticing and then naming what you're feeling helps regulate your emotional energy and gives you more power. This sounds simple, right? And it is, but take some objective self-observation. It requires slowing down a little and being open and honest with yourself. It's also important to recognize that no matter what you're feeling, it's not bad. You don't have to be afraid to slow down and take a look. All of our emotional experiences are important to learn from. We need to honestly evaluate what we're feeling and then take action to try to address these disturbed emotions. The issues behind them may stack up if we don't. So, when issues are unresolved, it leads to anxious feelings and preoccupation, and it drains the energy and the life force from us. Your unresolved feelings don't just magically go away. They fade into the background, but they become stored and still continue to drain you unknowingly. So let me give you an example. John is anxious as he's recently recovered from a heart attack, and he's unsure about what he can do and what he can't do. And he's scared that if he overdoes it, then he might cause another heart issue or worse. John can't focus on spending the day with his family as these disturbed feelings linger. John can't focus and can hardly hear what's being said over lunch. He keeps up with the conversation, yet inside his thoughts keep surging back over and over what he can do, should do, can't do. He keeps trying to fight troubling feelings so he can be present for the family get-together, but the anxious feelings, they keep disturbing his internal world. Soon he feels dull and drained inside. That one thought creates an emotional churning that John drags around the rest of the day. When he gets home in the evening, his wife asks him if he's okay. He didn't seem quite himself at lunch today. But not wanting to cause a problem, John pops himself down in front of the TV to try to forget about the whole thing. He goes to bed exhausted and still bothered inside. Now we can see that John's unresolved feelings don't just magically go away. They fade into the background, they become stored and still continue to drain him unknowingly. Sometimes it might seem easier just to brush the feelings aside, and when we do that, we just make things harder for ourselves. Once we notice a feeling and name it, we can decide to regulate the emotional energy associated with that. Then you can redirect your emotional energy to work for you instead of draining your entire day. Feelings are like a code that contains information. By naming and admitting feelings to yourself, you can start to decipher the code. The steps of notice and ease slow down your emotional energy, so you can listen to your heart. This allows intuitive perception to come to you, and this is an important point. Many people who suffer from anxiety have difficulty admitting feelings, so feelings back up in the system, causing more anxiety. Maybe you can relate to this from your own experience, as the turbulence of anxiety turns in the subconscious and plays out in thoughts and actions. It's called emotional processing. You can try to suppress it, but the processing, the stuff that's going on under the surface, still runs in the background of your thoughts and your feelings. And the drain of energy goes on and on. This festering can cause fatigue, sleep disorders, hormone imbalances, health problems, and premature aging. You might even find yourself going to a state of depression, that things won't change. You might feel like a victim of circumstances beyond your control, but you can take control. You just need to know what to do to regain it. Now, maybe the idea of admitting your emotions makes you feel, well, a little vulnerable. You might worry that you'll be engulfed by them, but the opposite happens. As soon as you honestly admit you're feeling anxious, you start to diminish its power. But then you don't stop there. As you use notice and ease, you can neutralize anxiety and ease out of the disturbing feelings or attitudes. Okay, so the third step is to use your heart, intent, to easily move the anxious feelings out of your system, and here's how it works. Ease. Doesn't it sound soothing just to hear it said in the elongated way? Think a bit like easing into a hot bath, just a little at a time. In this case, imagine taking the anxious feelings into your heart. Just focus your attention in the area of the heart. As you breathe, feel the anxiety slowly releasing. Just feel it gently easing out of your system. Before we go through the steps again, where you will begin practicing the tool, consider the list of disturbed feelings. know which ones you experience frequently. This will make it easier for you to identify and then name your anxious feelings as you're practicing. Notice and ease. So the feelings are tense, worry, confusion, edgy, overwhelmed, blaming, fearful, resistant, or numb. So let's practice becoming more conscious of anxious feelings as they come up. We will go through the steps of notice and ease again and see if there is a particular anxious feeling you have felt recently and use it in the practice session. Step 1. So, sit comfortably, relax, take a deep breath. Close your eyes if it helps. Now notice and admit what you are feeling. Take stock. And trying to feel what's going on right now in your emotions. What type of emotions are you feeling? Try to name the feeling. As you observe what's going on in your feeling world, try to name the most prominent, unwanted feeling you're currently experiencing. Step 3. Tell yourself to ease as you gently focus in your heart. Relax as you breathe and ease the stress out. Take your time with this step as you feel the unwanted feelings dissipating. Okay, now you can practice this throughout your day. You can reduce the intensity of many unwanted emotions and especially of anxiety. As soon as you begin to feel anxious, practice this technique so that it doesn't have a chance to build up and become more significant. The more you practice, the more anxiety will decrease. You may not eliminate it all, but you can eliminate the habit of anxiety. Another technique is called attitude breathing. That is also helpful in releasing anxiety. Attitude breathing bootstraps the power of your heart intent to quickly shift a mood or attitude. Learning how to shift attitudes more quickly is a valuable skill that can save you from draining emotional reactions and often lead to chronic anxiety. Attitude breathing is designed to help you shift out of a negative emotional state into a positive one, physically and mentally. You learn to clear and replace negative attitudes for ones that are more regenerative. And here are the steps. Number 1, recognizing unwanted attitude of feeling or attitude that you want to change. This could be anxiety, self-judgment, guilt, shame, anger, or anything else that you can think of. 2, identify and breathe a replacement attitude So select an attitude, then breathe the feeling of that new attitude slowly through your heart area. Do this for a while and focus on the new feeling. Let me give you an example. If you're anxious, you may want to breathe calm. This requires breathing the feeling of calm for a while until you actually feel calmed. Then you have made what we call the energetic shift. Continue the attitude breathing until you feel a shift or a change. It can take a few minutes for this to shift, but the results are worthwhile. Sometimes strong, anxious feelings are hard to shift. Attitude breathing will help. It will take the fire out of negative thoughts and emotions, so they have less fuel. The main thing to remember is, even if it takes a little practice, you do have the power in you to make this work. Don't give up, even when you have a setback. These notice and ease and attitude breathing tools work to help eliminate a lot of anxiety. But of course, you are the one who makes them work. It's important not to look at these tools as quick fixes, as if they're magic, as that can lead to unrealistic expectations. Practice regularly and practice genuinely, from the heart. Renewing your heart intent each time you practice will give you the most mileage. Now you have some new insights and simple, solid skills to use whenever you find yourself feeling anxious. Just use them anytime, no matter what you're doing, what you're feeling, or where you are. Even if you're feeling great and anxiety-free, you can still use these tools to help keep the momentum more positive. It's like building a positive energy bank account to draw on when you need it. Remember, you have more power over your feelings than you realize, including the feelings of anxiety. Guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and please let me know how you've got on or what anxiety feelings you're feeling in the comments section below. And if I can be of help, I'll reply to you. Thank you for joining me today. See you next time.